my name is Irene. I like talking to my channel. I talk my opinions on books and hopefully I can give you a few good recommendations. Before I get started, I'd just like to ask you to please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Alright, so today I am going to be talking about my June wrap-up. I did not read as many books as I usually do. I think I was just in not the best place mentally. I was just overthinking a lot. I couldn't focus on reading, so I didn't read that much. But I did read 6 books, and then I DNF'd 2, and I'm currently reading 1. So I'm going to go over all of that. But I am going to start off talking about the books that I have started and finished and what I thought of them. So the first 3 things I read, I'm going to talk about it as one because it is a poetry collection. The first one is The Princess Saves Herself in this one. The second one is The Mermaid Gets Her Voice Back in this one. And the third one is The Witch Does Not Burn in this one, I think. Anyway, so this poetry collection was 3 stars for me. I do not know how I really feel about it necessarily because I don't really read that many poetry collections. This is probably my second time reading something like this, and to me it felt really clustered, there was no point to it, you know, and it wasn't memorable for me because there weren't these scenes to remember. It was just all poetry and talking about situations instead of seeing the situations, if you know what I mean. So I kind of disconnected from it, but it was well done. I think that it flowed really well. I think that there were a lot of quotable lines, lines I would want to remember. I really loved how it connected to classic Disney stories and mentioned them and compared herself to them. I thought that was a very unique touch, and I love that stuff. But part of me just disconnected to it, and I think it was because it was a poetry collection, but all 3 books were very, very short. I think that they were each around 100 to 150 pages on ebook, and I flew through them probably within an hour, well, each one within an hour, and I overall thought they were good, but nothing that was memorable that I would want to read again. It touches a lot on feminism, really, and empowering women, and I like that, so I think it would be really good for young girls to read them. But other than that, I don't know how much I recommend them, but they were fun to read. The next one I'm going to talk about is The Opposite of Innocent. Now, this story was not a poetry collection, but it was told in verse. So it told a story, and the story was about a girl that was infatuated with an older man, a man that was close around to her father's age, that was about to move back into their house and live with them. So she was infatuated with this man. She thought she was in love with this man, and then things are going down a path where this man, you know, starts acting like he likes her back, and it gets kind of twisted, and I also gave this 3 stars. I have read a few other books where it's about a girl who falls in love with an older man. You know, it's kind of not real love, is more of an infatuation, and I read those books and I just I like the storyline and I connect with those books a lot better than this one. There was just something about it that made me not like it as much. Maybe it was because it was told in verse or something like that, but I thought it was good though. I felt like the beginning with the infatuation before anything bad happened, I thought that wasn't as well done as I would have liked, because in a lot of books I've read with this kind of plot line, you can see why the girl is in love with the man. You can see why. You know it's gross and icky, but you can also you're in her perspective, so you can see why. And in the beginning, you know, he sounded very interesting, and I think it could have played off of that, and he could have at least have some sort of like relationship with her where it's like, oh yeah, they joke around, they get along, this is why she likes him, you know, but there was really no reason for her infatuation, which made me not like it as much. I just would have liked there to be like a relationship between them. And then the ending, I'm not going to tell you the ending because obviously that's a spoiler, but the ending felt like it left off one last scene. I hate it in books when it does that, where it goes to the ending and then it hits like this climax, like, okay, this is what we were waiting the entire book for, and then it just ends. I don't know why books do that, but they just end it, and it's just like, okay, you can kind of assume what's going to happen, because in this book you can assume what's going to happen next, but you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen next, and I want to know what's going to happen next. I don't want it to end where the main plot line isn't tied together. Like, there can be some loose ends, but not the main plot line. I wanted to, there just seemed to be a scene missing. I just wanted to know what happened. So this book was 3 stars for me. I would recommend it maybe to someone who has gone through a situation like this, and who wants to see if it's relatable, or if you just like books like this. I would maybe try it, but I personally didn't love it. So the 4th book I am going to be talking about is Lost Boy, The True Story of Captain Hook. Now this is, it basically says in the title, this is basically a retelling of Peter Pan in the perspective of Hook, and it shows what happens with Hook and what makes him turn into the bad guy. Personally, I love retellings like this where it shows the villain, because I find it very interesting. So I did enjoy this, and I did give it 4 stars. I thought the reasons why I became this villain were really good. So it's about this boy, Jamie, who is a lost boy, and you know, he's going to be eventually Hook. And he is a lost boy with Peter Pan, and he loves Peter Pan. But Peter Pan is literally like a sociopath. Like, he is crazy, you know? And so Jamie, you know, still loves him, but then he starts to see the situation for what it really is, and he starts caring more about the lost boys that come with him. Not come with him, but the lost boys that they pick up and bring here. And he's also, what I found very interesting was that he was the first lost boy that ever existed. I loved that twist on saying that's who Hook was. I thought that was great. And then explained the whole missing hand thing, which was great. And yes, there was just some parts where I've read other villain stories, origin stories, and there were just some parts that I thought could have been different to make it more interesting. And then a lot of things go down, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of death, and I really liked that. So it was good. It was really good, and I would recommend it if you like Peter Pan and want to see where Hook came from. Okay, the next book I'm going to talk about is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. Last month I read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, so this month I read Starsight. Skyward was about this girl who lived on this planet, Beatrice, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and she lived with a bunch of humans, and she was training to become a pilot, and she wanted to fight the crowd, which were these aliens that continually went to attack them. And no one really knows what these aliens, the crowd, were really like. They didn't know what they looked like, what their goal was, or anything like that. And she also finds this ship that is a really old ship that can talk to her Mbot. And I loved Mbot. Mbot's my favorite character. He's great. You know, I love the companion. I think I talked about this in my favorite tropes video. I love the companion that's like some sort of device or something that can talk and they have their own personalities. Anyway, so I loved that and it was really good. I give Skyward 5 stars. So this one, I was like, okay, so what's gonna happen in this? They're gonna probably keep fighting the Crow or whatever. But I'm not going to say exactly what happened because that would be a very big spoiler for the first book. But we look into more of who the Crow are. And it was great, and it was everything I wanted. I did not expect it at all, but it was everything I wanted and more. And he did everything, like, it's like he knew what I wanted secretly that I didn't know that I wanted, and then he gave it to me. Brandon Sanderson, if you didn't, was my favorite author, so he did magnificent with this. I found it so interesting what happened. I wish I could tell you, but I'm not gonna because it's a spoiler, but it was really good. Nothing I expected. It was great. So that was the last book I started and finished in the month of June. Now I'm gonna go over the book that I am currently reading, which is The Dance with Dragons, the 5th book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. So, I really enjoyed this. I really wanted to finish it in June, but my mind was just so like crazy that I just couldn't focus on it. So I'm 800 pages in. So I will be finishing it in July. I just wanted to mention that I'm reading this book. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's the last book in the series right now. Hopefully that won't be true for long. But I just wanted to say that it's good so far, and it will probably fall into the 4-star category. And I did read it a lot in June. I just couldn't get my mind to focus on finishing it. Then I'm going to talk about the 2 books that I did not finish. I'm going to go briefly over them. And I want to mention these. I think I'm going to mention in my wrap-ups, my DNFs, because I mentioned them in my TBR. And I don't want to, like, make it seem like I just didn't try those books, because I did. So I'm going to mention them here. So I DNF'd The Picture of Dorian Gray. It was just boring to me. I didn't find it interesting. I thought the plot, when a booktober like was explaining it, I thought the plot was very interesting. But when it came into it, it wasn't really about them. I mean, it was about that, but it wasn't completely about that. There was a bunch of other characters that I cared absolutely nothing about that were crowding the frickin' story, so didn't really like it. I got about 20% in and I DNF'd it. I don't think I'll pick it back up. I don't think it's really my style. I mean, I wanted to read a classic and I didn't in June, but it's fine. And then the last book I DNF'd was The Betrayal of Maggie, Blair. This book I didn't get much far into. I want to, like, before I DNF a book, get at least like a 5th of the way through, but I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I was so bored. I did not like the writing immediately. I just did not like the writing, and it wasn't anything I can pinpoint on why I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I thought it was so boring. And it also was a lot about religion and Christianity and all that, and I'm pretty sure that's going to change and become this witch thing, where they were like killing witches, like the Christians and stuff. But I wasn't interested in that religion, and I didn't care to read about it, so I just DNF'd it. I was like, I didn't want to read something that I wasn't enjoying just to read it when I was already having trouble getting into books. I just wanted to read books that I do like because it was already hard for me, and I probably will never pick this up again. Plus, I don't even remember who recommended it to me. I probably found it on BookTube, and I have no idea where on BookTube, so I mean, there's no point to read it. It's not really popular, so probably won't be disappointing anybody. But yeah, so I did have those 2. I'm currently reading that one, and those are the 6 books I finished. So that is all that I read in the month of June. Next month, I already put my July TBR out, and you know what books I am trying to read for July. And next month, I will have every video I'll have each video out on Thursday. I already have those planned out, and I guess I will see you there. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and have a good day. Bye.